What is the death totals yesterday?
2,632 people died yesterday.
2,632 people died in this country yesterday. Again, lagging indicator. The infection rate of Omicron, as a nation, is going down. There are locations where it is not. And we're going to see this in places where Omicron is yet to hit. Over time, it's going to go up. Yet, Ben Shapiro, who has wanted to justify not protecting the people who work for his company, Ben Shapiro wants people to get back to work regardless of what's going on. Here's the irony, is that these guys both want workers to go back to work and also probably upset that the employment numbers are better. But
I just said bless you to myself.
Here is, bless you. Here is Ben Shapiro talking about the state of the Omicron COVID variant. This is clip number 7.
Experts had suggested we were going to gain about 200,000 jobs in January. So that means they missed by 500,000 jobs because they went the wrong direction in January. The U.S. added just 199,000 jobs in December. Economists are bracing for overall job losses in January. They expect the labor market to bounce back as Omicron fades, but we keep hearing that over and over. See, the thing is, you actually have to let Omicron fade if Omicron is going to fade. Because at this point, Omicron is just a mental condition. Omicron is not even a tremendous physical threat to the American people at this point because cases have been declining so steeply. And by the way, pretty much everybody has either been vaxxed or had natural immunity at this point by the stats. But it doesn't matter. You keep treating it as a crisis.
Okay. It's hard to sort of list the number of things he gets wrong in that clip because it's so densely packed with idiocy that it's hard to sort of parse out.
That's kind of his thing.
We know that approximately 20% of the people who are dying on a daily basis, at least this was the case a week or two ago, are vaccinated. They may be double vaccinated. Don't know because we just don't have enough data in terms of vaccinated, meaning 2 or 3 vaccinations, boosted. There are breakthrough things. Yes, most of those people probably older than him, probably his parents' age. I don't know if they're alive. I suspect if they are alive, he'd want to keep them alive. But nevertheless, we also know that 2,600 people died on the day that he said that. Probably the vast majority of them, Omicron. Maybe some have Delta. We just don't quite have all the data on that as well. There is no letting Omicron go away.
Well, his metric for why is that infections are going down, but he can't say that deaths are going down because those numbers are still climbing.
Exactly.
And they're as stark as any time in this pandemic.
It's interesting how he chooses to talk about the case count.
It's also interesting how he chooses to talk about a virus as if well, the reason why people are getting wet when they go outside is because there's not enough people ignoring the rain.
Also, the natural immunity point, there is no way to actually track natural immunity. There's a very distinct possibility that if you got COVID, you can get COVID again via natural immunity. We don't know how long it lasts. It's very different person to person, it seems to be. And it's also different with the variants that you might have contracted. So the idea that he's coming out and saying that natural immunity is a substitute protection for COVID via pairing it with vaccinations, it's absurd.
And he also was wrong about what was happening. His whole piece there was premised on that the job numbers were going to be anemic in January because people are not ignoring Omicron enough. And so Omicron is not going away. And the numbers were close to 500,000 new jobs in January. And what that suggests is that people were far more nervous about Omicron in December because, and we can see the lagging indicator, you've got 2,600 people dying a day right now. Those are people who contracted it in December.
Yeah.
And maybe the beginning of January.
And that's why you have people like Nate Silver saying they're going to patriotically go out to eat more often to try to get the economy back. But it's like you can't make up for the fact that everybody else is still concerned about the virus that's flying around and clogging up hospitals.
There's a lot of people.
Brave of you to go and have a filet mignon.
Well,
I mean,
and it's also sort of like, there's also people who like may have someone in their life who is in some way immunocompromised. I mean, and the idea that you should be cavalier about this or decide that, you know what, it's more important for me to go out and support restaurants than it is for me to hang out with my mom or my dad or my uncle or my aunt or my friend or my child.
not just that it's more important, that I'm actually benevolent.
Yes, I'm actually a good person and I'm a rational person because I'm making that decision. It's just bizarre. And
they
twisted.
They want to do what they want to do, and so then they assign valor to it. It's so absurdly narcissistic. You want to go out to dinner? Go out to dinner. Let's not pretend like you're doing some amazing act of kindness. It's ridiculous.
And if you're apologist for capitalism, it's a lot easier to say this is on people's head than actually we have a structural problem with our consumer economy.
Right.
And it's not exactly as robust as we need it to be.